Okay, we're now streaming live on YouTube. This is KP4MD.
Good evening. This is Neil, KL7 Hotel, Playback Romeo, control operator of the ARC's slow scan television net tonight. This net serves for training and practice on image transmission modes and meets the Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater 441. River City Amateur Radio Communication Society members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign in between the transmissions, then the net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need a repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. As always, a double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Those who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. These stations who wish to check in at this net at this time for tonight's meeting, please come now.
Alpha India 6, Delta Golf, good evening.
Kilo.
Welcome.
Kilo Papa 4, Mike Delta Carol, Citrus Heights.
Good evening, Carol, and welcome to the net, KB4MD. Anybody else?
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob.
N6BG, let's try that again. N6BGQ, Bob, good evening, welcome. I will check myself in, Kilo Lima 7, Hotel, Quebec, Romeo, Neo, in Antelope. Anybody else? Well, we have 4 participants. We will break the transmission in between images to see if we have somebody else coming in. Well, AI6DG, you're the first one coming in, so if you have one of your pictures, please go ahead. A good tone.
DD 120.
HQR. Good copy, Joel, on the picture. Carol was number 2, so KP4MD, over to you for your comments, please.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. Good copy on the signal. I have a few places where my signal, the signal coming in faded out because I have some multipath fading here. So those show up as some horizontal lines that you could see on YouTube. And I can actually read on that bottom left corner there. Looks like a faceplate for a front panel. It looks like Hard Rock 500, and I had no idea that Hard Rock 50 now makes maybe a 500 watt amplifier, but that's impressive. And I don't know if that's something you're building there, Joel, but I want to wish you luck and hope that that works for you. So back to Net Control, KP4MD.
Well, thank you, Carol, for the comments, KP4MD, and you have better eyes than I do. N6PGQ, your turn.
Okay, well, I was able to read Hard Rock also, and in the bottom corner we have AI6, and looks like a couple of like 4 completed circuit boards in the top right. Bottom circuit board has quite a few toroids on it, so I don't know exactly what it's for. And the device there on the top where it says Hard Rock has a fan in it, and it looks like a 3-prong power plug and a couple of SO239 jacks on the left side. So that's about all I can tell. I didn't get any of the scan lines that Carol commented on. There's quite a few pixels on the picture, but all in all, came through just fine. N6PGQ.
Thank you, Bob. N6PGQ. Yeah, like you, I got quite a few pictures on this one. Picture itself is good, so it looks like it's my eyesight that's not so good. I cannot read. Now that you say what it was, Hard Rock 500, I can definitely see that. But it's a reddish background. Whatever the horizontal surface that these things are sitting, it looks like a unassembled or disassembled or just ready to be assembled 4-part item. As Bob said, on the left-hand side looks like a rear panel with some 259 plugs and a fan and a power plug in the bottom. And it looks like the front plate down on the bottom, black with some grills. And on the right-hand side, 1 circuit board on the left side with the toroids, as Bob indicated, and an empty slot on the right-hand side, a 60G indication there. And on top of the 4, since the other board, the bottom side or the top side on the bottom is empty, I don't know if there are stacked boards on the right-hand side on the top. But overall, very good copy. So back to Joel, AI6DG, for your comments, please.
So yes, this is a Hard Rock 500 that I am building. Actually, I've mostly built it already. I just got the final things to do. This is towards the end of the construction, and this is the like 4 modules that you put together during the final assembly stage. So the 2 left items on top left is the rear panel. Lower left is the front panel. So on the lower right, you see 2 black squares. Those are the 2 displays, and touch panels for controlling it with the vents on below those for air. Power switch to the left of the slot. The top one, as has been mentioned, you've got 1 big fan, 3 smaller fans. The 3 smaller fans are pulling air over the big heat sink that the final transistors are on. The big slot underneath that and between the power plug and the fans is actually where a board sticks out. And you've got one UHF connector above that on the right part of the panel, and the two outputs to the antennas on the left side of the fans, on the left of the panel. And the way it works is you've got these two sheet metal. That's what's on the right. It's the two halves, the top half and the bottom half. And they bolt together between the front and back panels. And the front and back panels is what actually holds everything together. The top right is the bottom panel, and it's 3 power supplies in series, 3 18-volt supplies added up to 54 volts, and the circuit board there is the power control board, and that's actually what sticks out the slot that I mentioned earlier. And the wires going back from left to right, that's the AC and DC power distribution within the unit. The bottom one, the bottom right, what you're looking at on the left part of that is the antenna tuner, and there's actually a low-pass filter board below that you can't see. They're stacked off of spacers. And the right half of that, lower right, is the finals, which just hasn't been mounted yet. So there's a big, huge heat sink and a big, huge copper heat spreader that the final transistors are bolted to in a circuit board there. So this is really small. I mean, it's not much bigger than a 100-watt transceiver. I don't quite have it all working yet, but I'm hoping to soon. I was hoping to get it working at field day, and I did actually have it completed, but the antenna tuner wasn't working, and I didn't have push-to-talk cabling made up. So rather than spend time messing with it, I just used the tried and true, what I knew would work, 6500 that I dragged out. Kind of excited to give this a try. It looks interesting. Back to Net ASXE.
Thank you, Joe. Very good. Yeah, I didn't think about the final being missing there. I have a couple questions, but let's go. Anybody else has any questions from Joe?
6 PGQ.
Go ahead, Bob.
The thing have a transformer in it?
It's the power supplies are switchers, so there's small transformers, but does not have a linear power supply, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, very good. And then I have a question to the group. Does it seem like the audio this evening is way low, or is it just me?
7 HQR. For me, the audio looks normal. Let's see. What do you think, Joel?
I'm not noticing anything. I think the PayPause pops are worse than normal, but not low audio.
Okay, Carol, if you have a chance, any low audio notice there?
Yeah, I just noticed that you, Neil, you're a little bit lower in volume than everyone else.
Let's see if I can move my my microphone a little bit and talk a little bit louder. Thank you. Anyway, so as far as the question I had, you said that there was a board that extends through the back panel. That sounds interesting. What is the purpose of that board?
Let's see here. It has a USB plug. It has a banana push-to-talk plug. It's got a DB9 accessory plug that brings a bunch of like push-to-talk and power out. You can actually power a like 12 volts at 2 point something amps. So you can power a QRP transceiver off of it. And I think there was a 3.5 jack that maybe it's also push to talk, or was it? I'm not sure, but it's some of the. It's basically the control signals for the unit, and so that little slot on the upper left between the fans and the AC plug has the board that's just to the left of it. So the upper right has 4 things, and the upper left of those is the circuit board that sticks out that slot.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, and I'll try to speak a little bit louder. Hope it will be a little bit better. Okay, number 2, KP4MD. You're number 2 on the list, so please go ahead with your picture.
QSL, this picture is going to come PD120.
Scale 7HQ1. Good copy on the picture. By the way, first of all, Bob, is the audio a little bit better now?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's my fault. Personal amplifier had needed adjustments. So good copy here, a little line on the middle of the picture, but let's see what Bob has to say. N6PGQ for your comments.
Oh, heavens. I should probably go last because I know exactly what the picture is and can describe it in more detail than what I'm seeing.
Okay, let's go to Joel then, AI6DG.
Okay, so we've got a group of people sitting in, like, probably all of them are in folding chairs. 2 of them look like camp folding chairs. Well, all of them look like probably camp folding chairs. In the background, I see some picnic tables, an ice chests, more folding chairs. Maybe on the upper right corner, I barely see someone sitting in front of something. So I think this is an operating station at field day. So maybe that guy in the back right corner is another operator. At least two of them, the people sitting down, are wearing field day T-shirts. Lower right guy in red shirts typing at a laptop, and lady in a green shirt probably holding a hand mic, and probably in front of a go box. I think I see a lid open. I can't tell if it's an open lid or if it's a ping pong table in the background. And a couple of Tupperwares of, well, one of them's probably food. Red one with the red lid's probably food, but maybe not. I don't know what. I can't see what's in there. So I don't know if this is inside or if it's just a very well lit at nighttime covered picnic area. Back to Net AS6DG.
KL7HQR, you got a lot of good details there, Joe. As always, you're very observant, except that you missed. My copy was really good here, better than yours. I can't see the food inside the red container. I couldn't even tell you what's in there. But looking at the background, I assume that, well, this is the VFW Post field day operation. And looking at the background, it looks like it's at night. And if Carol took the picture, it must have taken very late at night. You said that you were there about 11 o'clock. So having been there myself, I could describe the picture, but it would be more interesting from you, as knowing when you took it and what was going on. As far as the picture itself, one interference bar going right across Bob's neck, and lots of artifacts this time. KP4MD, KL7HQR.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. Yeah, this is a picture that I took on Saturday night. It was around 11 p.m. at the VFW post in Fair Oaks. This was the River City Arcs field day. And Bob is there typing, I think doing a logging on a little laptop computer. The person on the microphone is Sylvia. It's KS6WTF. And then the people sitting in the chairs behind, K6HUH, and to the right of him is Gert, KK6 Zulu Golf Alpha. I'm not sure who that is in the distance there in the upper right-hand corner, but there may be somebody sitting there. I just can't think immediately who it would be. But maybe Bob has a little bit more information about this because he was actually active in this picture. Over.
Roger. Bob, go ahead.
Okay, well, everybody has done yeoman's description work tonight. Yeah, that's Sylvia, and she's using my Go box that I bring to field day almost every year. It's starting to fall apart, so it's about time to rebuild the thing. And of course, mention Hank and Gert and myself. I'm in the red shirt. I didn't change. On the left is a plastic box. Left bottom foreground is a plastic box full of extra parts for the solar panel that I brought. And just as was mentioned, down at the bottom with the red lid is some wonderful potato salad that Neil's wife made, and I kind of gobbled up more than my share. Anyway, it's a field day at the VFW. If you kind of look carefully, in the very left-hand upper corner on the left is where our CW station was, and behind Hank's head was supposed to be another station, but it didn't work out. And on the right was our 40-meter station over Gert's head. So that was us at the VFW, as Carol said, around 11 o'clock at night. and we're still kind of going strong, making contacts. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, that's the story. N6PGQ.
Very good, very good. Good picture and good memories. Any other questions? Anybody?
What band was the station on?
On 20 meters, and I forgot to mention that the scan line right under my chin is when the repeater ID'd.
Am I the only one that's thinking PayPause is worse tonight than normal?
N6NA, I know it is definitely strong here, and so much more than normal. Yeah, we had the operation there on 10 meters. I operated 10 meters using IC7300, and in the morning, and it was interesting because it was an antenna that was pointed east. On 10 meters, I think I had 3 elements pointed east, and all the contacts that I made were north-south. So the only east contact that I made was Arizona. So we had 10, 15, 20, and then 40. We had an 80 meters inverted V, so I'm not so sure who operated that. I think Tom may have operated that for a while. Anyway, any other comments before we go to the next picture?
Which band did you have the most contacts on? Was it pretty even, or was there one band that just blew away everything else?
I don't know. I'll let Carol answer that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not privy to that information since I didn't operate during this field day there, and I know that the CW was going strong at the same time as phone. They were able to operate the same band just by separating the antennas and orienting them. They were able to operate both CW and phone on the same band. Over.
N6NA, I thought you had the figures already provided to you after the fact, Carol, sorry. Maybe Bob has some detailed information, but one thing I know in general is that that one gentleman operating CW made more contact than all of the other phone operators together. So, Bob, any more information on the band contact numbers?
No, I don't remember exactly how many it was, but I was just going to mention the same thing you did. And I think he was on 20 most of the day, and he made more contacts than all the people that were operating sideband. I was kind of grumpy at the very end. I finally heard a station in Hawaii and was going to work the guy, and he was talking to another operator for the last 8 minutes of the contest, and they couldn't hear each other. They didn't know each other's call, and he just kept talking and talking and talking and not making contacts, and so we missed the Pacific slot. So oh well, what the heck. N6PGQ.
As you can see, Joel, not being there, we had a great time. We had a fantastic time. And so, Bob, it's your turn. N6PGQ, please go ahead.
Okay, well, this is going to be PD 120.
This is scale 7 HQR. Picture came in very, very good, Bob. Very few artifacts. And I'll pass it on to Joel for initial comments. AI6DG.
Based on the palm tree or some similar type of tree growing out of the middle of a car or truck body, I'd say it's the tropics. So we've got this is probably like an industrial yard or a corporate yard or a junkyard or something. I see the body only of some sort of old car sitting on top of a old flatbed truck with the wood sides, kind of like a fence, you know, the things that you can stick in or pull out, with all kinds of debris kind of sitting around it. Everything covered in rust. You've got a couple of, like I said, a palm tree growing out of the middle of that, a couple of buildings in the background, one close to the right and a couple in the distance off to the left, with maybe a modern and not rusty a small box truck, the door open, the rear door open maybe. And in the foreground off to the right, sitting right behind the flatbed, is a kind of like a Model 8 type of car. You can see the just the corner of the window, the steering wheel, the windshield, the hood, one fender and one headlight. And it looks to be in a lot better shape. It's still covered in rust. I guess it's amazing what a determined restorer with lots of money can do. But maybe what's on the flatbed and the flatbed doesn't look restorable, but maybe depending upon what the rest of it looks like, the thing in the lower right might be restorable. Lots of rust. I guess it doesn't take much in the tropics. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, Carol, KP4MD, your turn.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I was going to say this is probably one or a couple of Bob's extensive collection of vintage cars, and he's always working on projects there. And yep, it looks like he's got an exotic palm tree growing out of that one on the left side there. Very good. They do need a new paint job. So back to net. This is KP4MD.
This is scale 7 HQR. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if that is considered. It could be the tropics. I don't know if it is or not, but that could be a coconut tree. And as well as always, Joe did a very good description. Very little to add to it, and I don't know if this is one of Bob's new acquisition. I know that you and your brother Bob, you go out and hunt for little treasures like this. So curious to know where this was taken and if it is one of yours. N6PGQ from KL7HQR and the net.
Okay, well, good observing again. This shows you how long that our family can procrastinate. What you don't see is that that's only about the bottom fifth of a tree that's growing through both the bed of the flatbed truck and through the roof of a 1932 Ford. So anyway, it's here in Sacramento. It's not in the tropics. And the truck in the left front, which you can't tell because you can't see it, is a 33 Ford truck, and with the exception of the rotting wood and patina on the bed, the thing would probably run if we spent lots of money on tires. The truck in the lower right is a 1934 International, and that's why it looks really old, is because it's not a General Motors or a Ford product. And that's pretty much it. Some of the collection that's going to be used for parts. N6PGQ.
that yours, your brother's, or one of your sons, or who does it belong to?
Let's see. The International's all of ours. The truck in the front is all of ours, and the 32 is my brother's. And the tree is its own self, and someday it will go to tree heaven.
It's not at your property. I don't remember seeing that. Am I wrong?
Oh, Connie wouldn't accept that for very long.
Okay. Anybody else has any other questions for Bob? Well, I admire how much interest you guys have in automobiles and how little I know about them. So anyway, it's my turn. I have to apologize. I've been spending quite a few days going through nothing serious, but going through all kinds of doctor's appointments, which is my social life and the wife lately. And with a field day during the weekend, I didn't have much a chance to locate a good picture, so I scrounged one in here, and it's going to be PD 120. Well, that is the picture, and I apologize for the quality and simplicity of it, but it's the best I could come up with. Let's go in reverse order. So let's go to Bob, N6PGQ, for your comments, please.
Okay, well, you know my prognosticator doesn't work all the time, but this looks to me like it's a set of elevator controls, and that someone is on the first floor and took a picture of the elevator. And I would guess that is a relatively old one because it looks like the lights light up in an old way, and the numbers look like maybe 30s or 40s numbers. So that's my guess. The quality is really good. The N6NA SSTV Net and KL7HQR came out real well and nice and clear, and not very many artifacts. N6PGQ.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, next up, KP4MD. Carol, you're coming.
Okay, this is KP4MD. I second everything that Bob said. And why isn't there a fourth floor on there? And I don't think you'd be on the first floor, because if you were on the first floor, it wouldn't light up when you would press the same number of floor you're on. So that's just my guess. Back to Nets, KP4MD.
Roger. Good copy. AI60G, let's see what you can add.
It doesn't look all that old to me, but then I keep getting caught by someone saying something from back in the 80s or 90s is ancient history. It doesn't seem like ancient history to me, but I guess it is people younger than me. This doesn't look 30s or 40s. This is more like 60s or 70s. So yeah, old, but not that old. I mean, define old. It does seem to be fewer pops on it, and there's some labels around the number 1 and number 2 buttons that I'm assuming are labeling of what's on those floors. So yeah, what happened to 4? Is this some, like maybe in a casino or someplace where 4 is considered an unlucky number? Back to net AI60G.
KL7H2R. Well, as I said, I didn't have time to find a better one. So this is the only one that had a little bit of a curiosity on it. And the main thing is exactly the absence of the 4th floor. Okay. This in most of Asia, the 4 is considered unlucky. Just like in many cases here in the United States, we do not have the 13th floor. And so this particular one was taken in an elevator in a hotel in the city of Suzhou in China, not too far, about 2 hours by car from Shanghai. And I was there working, and the interesting thing is that you don't have 4th floor, and also you don't have any in that hotel. You didn't have any room with a number 4, so you went from 39 to 50. No 54s, no 64s. It was very, very drastically in this particular hotel. So, and this was taken approximately 6 years ago. And the hotel was a fairly new and well-maintained hotel. I don't remember if it was a Hilton. So, yeah, I would say it's not old, but that's the explanation. And most of you guys caught it. So, any other questions? By the way, the fact that the light on number 1 is on, I cannot answer, because normally outside the United States, in Europe, and in Asia, the bottom floor is considered the ground floor, and first floor is what we call second floor, and it goes up that way. But anyway, so if there are no other questions, we would return to AI60G. We still have about 15 minutes. If you have a second picture, Joel, please go ahead.
One moment, let me get one ready.
This is KL7H2R with Sacramento's River City ARCS, Amateur Radio Communication Society SSTV Net. Standing by for AI60G for a transmission. beautiful, beautiful picture. A very good copy. A few artifacts, but very sharp copy, no problem at all. KP4MD, for your comments, please.
Yeah, this is KP4MD, and I see a very impressive, sharp peak there. I guess a mountaintop. I have no idea where this is, but I'm sure Joel has been up there, and you have to be physically fit to be able to scale something like that, Joel. Thank you very much. Back to net, KP4MD.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. N6PGQ, please go ahead.
Yeah, very detailed picture. There are some trees on the lower right-hand side. The top of the peaks and the facing section that faces us has absolutely no trees on it, so it's probably much steeper, or some of the mountain has fallen down. You know, few trees in the bottom left, and looks like some right to the left of the left-hand peak. And I have a series of bars on the left side of my screen that start green and go down and turn reddish, and they're different lines going across the picture, and it's somewhat pyramid-shaped. So anyway, my picture is not complete of the mountain, so I don't know if it's me or what was sent. N6PGQ.
This is scale 7HQR. Maybe Carol can explain a little bit better, but I got a perfect copy of the image here. But normally, if I may be wrong, but normally that indicates a little bit of a timing issue between the transmitter and the receiver. And most of the time, the MMS SSTV, when he detects that, it adjusts it. But I'll let Carol address that. I'm quite sure she can talk about that, maybe Joe as well. But on my side, got a very sharp picture. No artifact, the PayPal's artifact on the blue side, but outside of that, very, very detailed, very good resolution of the picture. Good contrast, and they look so sharp that they must be, they should be a lot newer than the terrain around. On the bottom right-hand side of the picture, you have a more rounded area and surface with a little yellowish tone. So curious to know where that is, and I'm quite sure Mr. Joel will address that. And if you can talk a little bit about the problem, the Bob notice. Back to AI6DG.
Okay, this is Cathedral Peak in Yosemite, up in the Tuolumne Meadow area. So Cathedral Peak's on the right, and it's Eichhorn Pinnacle on the left. And yes, I've been up there. I didn't get to the top of any of these. I was climbing around in the non-rock climbing stuff. But I did get up to the shoulder, the low area between the two. And it was actually one of those amazing trips, because I got kind of a triple whammy of sights and seeings. I basically came in from the back side of this off to the left from the back side of it, and I lateral across that slope that you can kind of see some green stuff. Well, those are bushes and trees and things. And that was amazing, because there's just an amazing view off to basically the left and behind of the view we have here. And then I came up to that shoulder that's in shadow, that's between the two peaks, and came up and poked my head over and saw the view off to the right and behind the view, which is off to another mountain range. I think that's was it Sawtooth or something? And saw rock climbers climbing Eichhorn Pinnacle, the left of the two peaks, and then kind of went up towards the top part of the Cathedral Peak on the right, but didn't get too near it because it was a little too rough for me. And there's another ridge that I went up to and got the view there going off to the east of here, which is directly off to the right. There's another valley and Unicorn Peak on the other side of that valley, and went down a slope over there, which is basically behind everything you're seeing off on the right. It was just like one amazing view after one amazing view after one amazing view. Very great day. And I didn't take this picture. I had to think about it for a moment, because the point I know I didn't take this picture is because I've never been in the part of Yosemite where this picture would have been taken from. But that's definitely something I'd like to do sometime. This is probably taken from Upper Cathedral Lake or somewhere in that area. Back to Net A6TV. Oh, wait a minute. One point. Yes, this looks rough, and the stuff in the foreground smoothed. That's because the stuff in the foreground it was lower and was covered with glaciers and got glacially eroded. And the tips of the high peaks, the glaciers didn't get high enough to erode them, so they're still sharp-edged like this. So you can tell how high the glaciers got by that. Back to Net AI6TG.
L7HQR. Do you have any idea on the height of those peaks?
Off the top of my head, I'd say 11 or 12. Quality Meadows is around 8,800, I believe.
Okay, about 3,000 or 4,000 above ground level, so that's not bad. I probably could see those views only if I could send a drone up there. Never be able to do that. I admire you, sir. You have done many things. You've seen many, many wonderful sights, and it takes skill to do that. I just got a text from Bob with a picture of what he got, and there is definitely on the left-hand side from top to bottom the slant, the green slant, so it's a question of a timing. Carol, do you have any answers or suggestions for Bob on how to solve that?
I'm sorry, but I did miss what particularly Bob was referring to.
He received the picture with a big slant, and gradually it slants to the right. And on the left-hand side, on a pyramidal or a triangular shape of the green. So obviously there is some kind of a timing out of phase there. And I know we discussed that before on the net. Go ahead.
Yeah, that could be the clock in your computer is there needs to be an adjustment made in MMSSTV to correct that. I'm seeing a tiny little green sliver, nothing to complain about on the picture here on YouTube. It's very minor, but if you're seeing anything much more than that, you can go into MMSSTV and calibrate the sound card. Now I can see you go into options, set up MMSSTV, and then you click on the MISC miscellaneous tab, and down in the lower left hand corner there's going to be a little box that says clock hertz and TX offset, and then there's a button that's ADG, that's the adjustment for the clock. And if you click that, it'll give you an explanation on how you correct for that, because everybody's computer clock is a little bit off. And you can do that just by injecting, feeding the audio from WWV into the MMSSTV program for about 4 or 5 minutes, and it'll tell you exactly how to do that. You do it with your mouse while you're watching the program. So back to Net. This is KP4MD.
That before, Carol. Thanks for refreshing. And Bob, Bob, back to you for any comments or additional questions, and you and I can work on that a little bit. And if you, I don't know if you're looking at YouTube from Carol, you can definitely see a little bit when she has a picture enlarged. You can see a very, very small miniature of what you got. N6PGQ KL7 HQR.
Okay, well, thank you, Carol and Neil. Yeah, this is the only picture that it did that to. The whole rest of the evening, everything's been just fine.
Yeah, okay, I think I need to learn a little bit about that. So maybe offline we can get together and go through that adjustment. So anyway, thank you. It is now 10 p.m. Let's see, any further questions from anybody about anything that we've done tonight? Otherwise, we will close the net for tonight. This is KL7 HQR. Anybody with a comment? Well, hearing none, and I was hoping that K3REH would show up. And by the way, Carol, he stopped by the field day, and we had a nice visit with him. So hopefully we'll continue to participate in the future. Anyway, at this time, we shall close the net for tonight. Now at 10 p.m., we will return at 9 a.m. Pacific time, Pacific Daylight Saving Time, next Wednesday. And we will hope that we'll have even more participation next time. Thanks everybody who participated, and this is KL7 HQR. Neil now saying good night, 73s, and see you next week. If you're still there.
Were you talking to me for a second?
Yeah, very quickly. Been looking, as I mentioned, I've been looking at some of the bioammo, batteries and a few other devices. Maybe we can talk tomorrow or the day after. I do have a couple more doctor's appointments to go through tomorrow, but when I get home, I would send you a text. Maybe we can get together and talk about that, and maybe follow up on the slow scan TV issue, okay?
Okie doke, give me a shout. I should be in and out. N6PGQ.
Okay, KL7HQ1, all clear. Good night.